and it just goes right on your project. You can get it at any craft store, and Walmart actually sells it now too. I get almost all of my washi tape when it's on clearance. I don't think I've ever paid full price for washi tape. So I'm just going to take random bits of it. The reason I really like washi tape, and the reason I decided to use it, is it adds just some colors that otherwise I wouldn't have on my tags. And I usually do put Mod Podge under and on top of my washi tape. Oh, I like that. Yes, I'm so glad I went ahead and decided to use the washi tape. So I'm going to do that on every project. Washi tape is on some of the tags. I went ahead and put a few strips of washi tape. As you can tell, I really like that black polka dot. And then on some of them I just kept it with the one. And like I said, you don't even have to put washi tape, but I like how it added that just a little bit more of another layer. So all right, not done yet. So the next step is I'm going to take various sizes of paintbrushes, and I want to start making marks. If you've never made marks on your work, I highly suggest that you do that. Making marks is really something that Ramus Sigmund has helped me with. She has had 3 30-day challenges now, and I'm not through the 3rd one yet. I just got started. But I just take a journal, and it's just my mark making journal, and I create pages, and then I create my marks. And your marks might be polka dots, they might be straight lines, they might be box shapes, they might be ovals, they might be whatever. But I like to make marks on my work, most of my work, and I thought that they would be really cute on tags, and it might be a way for you to start making marks yourself. So I want to encourage you to do that. So the way you would start making marks is just kind of look at your work, and then just kind of go with what comes to mind. A really fun way to make marks, if you want to start making that a practice, is just start listening to some of your favorite music. And for me, one of my main marks that I go to are the dots, because I think that they not only look really awesome in my pages but and on my work, but it's just something that is very soothing to me when I start doing that. Because we used ink, the ink is water soluble, meaning whenever you add something wet to it, it's going to what I want to say, like reignite it again, make it wet again, I guess is a good way to say that. And so I know that, and so I do know that that white isn't necessarily going to remain just a perfect white. It's going to get a little muddled with whatever color. In this case it's blue, but I'm okay with that because I think it just kind of adds to that messiness that I'm wanting. What I like about it too is it really does add that nice, just more layers, more messy layers, and that's what I'm going for with these tags. And this will be the first time that we've added acrylic paint to the tags. So anyway, I'm going to keep making marks. I have lots of different marks that I use, and I'm using my white gesso, by the way. So I had a lot of gesso left over from when I gessoed my tags, and so rather than just let that go to waste, there's no reason for me to use white paint. I can just use white gesso. These are some marks I like to make. They're like little half moons that I like to make. The nice thing too about making marks, if you decide that, like, if I decide that I really don't like these half moons on here, I think they look silly, I can definitely almost just kind of smudge them off and they're going to be fine. But I kind of like the way that they're filling up the sheet. My project, I kind of like that. So I think, see how it just adds something to my tag. Other colors that you can use, anything that's going to just pop off your page, I think works well. I might add a pop of orange is what I'm thinking about, would go really nicely with my tags. And I might use a yellow and or a black. I haven't decided, but I think for sure I'm going to use this orange. So I'm just going to go through and do that. I'll probably speed it up and you can watch me do that. Marks are on, and I am really loving these tags. I love all the layers. Remember, there's 2 layers of stenciling. We have our circles from Dina Wakley. We have washi tape, and then we made some marks on our tags. I am loving these colors. These are fantastic colors. All right, so the next step is it's time now to add our phrases and words. So I'm going to set these tags aside and they can just kind of finish drying a little bit. And it's time now to get to our tags, our words for our tags. And so once again, this sheet will be in the Empowered Creative Woman Facebook group. It'll be a PDF that you can go ahead and download and you can print off. And so I hope that that you like the font that I chose, and I hope that you like the phrases that I chose. There'll be many more on your sheet as well. There'll be some quotes and things. All we're going to do with these is we're just going to cut these out. Obviously we need 5 of them. I need 5 of them for my tags. How I'm going to do it is this. And you can do it any way that you would like to do, but this is the way that I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take a tag. I'm going to choose this one first with my favorite circle there. And I'm going to go ahead, and you could just put it you know, long ways on your tag if you wanted to, if you had a bigger tag, or if this was going into a journal or something. But how I like to do my word strips, and I do a lot of word strips in my tags, on my tags and in my journaling, is I'm going to cut each word out. So it's going to look like that. Okay, now that's where those colored inks come in, those ink pads that I was suggesting that you have. So there's all kinds of different colors on this. I think I'm going to go ahead maybe and use my pink ink pads so the words will kind of blend in. And then you would just take your word strips. Like I said, I'm going to take each word. There's Power and Acceptance is the one that I've decided to do first because this is my favorite. And if you notice, I'm using my favorite circle that I told you about. And I just take that ink pad, super simple, and then I just am going to put that around my word strip to make that word pop off. So you can see how that looks, like that. Okay, then before I glue them down, I'm a big believer in, you might want to change things around. So I am going to stick that there. My intention for these is not to put the quote directly in the circle, although you can do that if you want to. But the way that I had envisioned these tags with it was that the quote would go, maybe include the circle a little bit, but not fully. There is power in acceptance. Remember that. That's going to be my new mantra, is there's power in acceptance. I really like that a lot. Okay. I'm going to put that there, and then one more. This font that I chose for our word strips is called Betty, and I really love it. I think it's going to be my new go-to font that I use. Okay. There is power in acceptance. I really like the way that looks on my tag, and I'm going to go ahead now and Mod Podge that down. I'm loving these so much. There's my very first one. There is power in intention, in acceptance. There is power in acceptance. Okay. My next one is going to be focus on what matters, and I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I think that these leaves represent peace and calmness, and when I'm peaceful and calm, I can focus better. And I'm going to go ahead and use this limey green for my birds, and I love it. I'm really glad that I added the washi. I think the washi tape just added that element that I needed. And you don't have to take, if you decide that you don't want to have your word strips all separate like that, you don't have to have them. You could actually go ahead and cut like focus on. I'll show you here. You could do focus on, so you could do that one, and you could put that here, and then what matters could be right there. And I kind of like that. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna take my lime green ink, and I think that just adds so much. See how different that looks if you don't add the green? So add the ink. Do that. Take that extra time. And I learned how to do this when I was a scrapbooker. We would do this like with the brown was really in, the old timey brown or the black. Focus on what matters. All right, all of my quotes are now on my tags, and I'm going to get to the last step, and I like the Stabilo pencil, and I've decided that I really want to make my circles pop, so I'm going to use that Stabilo pencil, and I'll show you the magic it can do if you've never used one before. I first heard about the Stabilo from one of my favorite artists, which is Dina Wakley. She really inspires me, and she had shared in her Art Journal Freedom book about the Stabilo pencil, and so of course I had to get one. So I'm going to just encircle my circle, my Dina Wakley stamp circle, and then I'm going to make the magic happen with a paintbrush. I'm going to use a pretty thin tip paintbrush, and just water is all I'm going to use, and not a ton of water. And then I'm just going to take and, oh, look at the magic happening. Do you see that? Do you see the magic? So it went from that pencil look to more of a paint look. And then you can really mess it up if you want. You can make it that grungy look. But I kind of like just how that's just that black. Looks like almost like a paint look. I'm really liking that. So I might grunge it up a little. And to do that, you would just take your finger. Oh yeah, I like that. And then kind of smear it around. Careful not to get it on your lettering. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That looks amazing. So I'm going to do that now with all of my tags. This project turned out to be awesome, and honestly one of my more favorite projects I've done in a while. I really hope that you have learned not only about some fun ideas to use in on your tags or in your journals, but I hope that you've really thought about acceptance. And as you are creating these tags, think about those things in your life that you're not accepting. Think about ways that you can accept them, because honestly, girls, you know, it's hard to live in denial, and it's hard to live with stress and strife. And I'm here to tell you that, you know, as much as I am really aggravated by my predicament that I'm in right now, I also know that since I have just decided to acknowledge it and accept it, it's really making it easier for me to find that joy again in my life and to continue creating. Years ago, when we had a very similar situation, instead of accepting it, I lived in denial for probably a good year. And what that did to my body is I gained about 15 to 20 pounds, and I fell into a deep, dark depression. I sat on the couch, I ate, and I watched TV, and I just really honestly let the world pass me by. I didn't engage in hardly any friendships. In fact, I pushed people away, and I felt sorry for myself, and I became envious. I became a person that would go on Facebook and see what everyone else was doing and be incredibly jealous and envious and say snide remarks to my family about it. And looking back, I'm really ashamed that I did that, because by not accepting my situation, I was in denial. But I'm accepting it now, and I know that things are gonna be okay in the end. And you know, I've also accepted that they might not ever be the same again, and I'm okay with that too. I've just accepted that whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So I hope and pray, girls, that you can find that peace too, and that whatever it is that you're trying to accept in your life, that you'll be able to do that. I'm so grateful that you've been here and that you've joined Sherry and I on this journey. This has really been awesome, and I have enjoyed it more than I could ever have thought possible. It's been just great. I love seeing your gals work, and I want to thank Sherry again for inviting me to participate in this with her, because this has really been good for me. I've learned a lot, and I've kind of gotten out of my comfort zone that I'd put myself into for a few months. And I got back to filming and got back to thinking about what it is that I want to do in my creative life, and it's pretty cool. So thanks, Sherry, and thanks, girls.